The Garden of Lost Languages by Group 5. The Garden of Lost Languages, a short story. Genre, romantasy. Romance plus fantasy. Literary devices, metaphor. Imagery, personification. Group 5, English Literature, Course 551029, Universidad Nacional Abierta y a Distancia, 2026. Amara had always believed that some places remembered things the rest of the world forgot. She just never expected to find one behind her grandmother's house, hidden beneath a curtain of ivy that seemed to breathe with the evening wind. The gate was old, its iron twisted into shapes like sleeping birds. When she pushed it open, the hinges sighed, as if waking from a long, patient sleep. Beyond it stretched a garden unlike any she had seen, flowers in colors that did not exist in any language she knew, their petals trembling gently even though the air was still. She stepped closer, and the silence was not empty. It was full, the way a held breath is full. The flowers leaned toward her, curious the way people lean toward a stranger who might become a friend. Then she heard it, a whisper, soft as paper, rising from the nearest bloom. It was not a sound exactly, more like a memory trying to become a word. She knelt and listened, and the flower seemed to lean closer too, sharing its secret only with her. "They're dying," Amara whispered, though she did not know how she knew this, only that the garden's sorrow had settled into her chest like a stone. Many of the flowers had begun to wilt, their colors fading into a pale, forgettable gray. Above her, though she did not yet understand why, a single star flickered weakly in the darkening sky, as if struggling to hold onto its own light. Amara reached out and touched a dying petal. It trembled, grateful and frightened all at once, and in that instant she understood that she had not found this garden by accident. The garden had been waiting for someone who could finally listen. Determined to heal the garden's agony, Amara began to unearth secrets from among the weeds and her grandmother's old astronomy books. She soon discovered that the earth beneath her feet drank not only water, but the light of the constellations. Each sprout linked its destiny to the heartbeat of a star in the firmament. The paleness of the petals was the exact reflection of the dying star, victims of a cosmic oblivion. "The garden is not dying of old age, Amara," Kyle whispered, his voice sounding like a dry leaves swept by the wind. "It is dying of silence. Humans forgot the ancient words, the names that gave meaning to magic, and without them, the stars lose their memory and the flowers lose their color." United by the urgency of the disaster, Amara and Kyle became seekers of echoes. They scoured forgotten pages and whispered legends, unearthing the lost words of ancient cultures, indigenous terms that blessed the rain, ancient words that thanked the earth, and nomadic songs that guided navigators. Each time Amara uttered one of these words before a dying bath, the air vibrated. The flower awoke from its lethargy, stretching its petals with a yawn of restored color and in perfect synchronicity. A star up above reignited its torch in the black immensity. In the shelter of those shared nights, where danger lurked in every fading flash, the closeness between them began to transform. The complicity of hands brushing against each other while holding a fragile sprout became an invisible yet unbreakable bond. The gloomy cold of Kyle's curse began to melt before Amara's warmth, and the garden, a silent witness, bloomed with golden buds in their wake, celebrating an affection that defied the darkness itself. However, magic always demands a balance. Upon rescuing the last constellation, a frozen truth sprouted from Kyle's lips, extinguishing the spring in his eyes. Saving the garden and restoring brightness to the firmament will not be a free gift. The total restoration of the magical world required a final tribute. Healing the eternity of the stars demanded a price that threatened to wither forever the happiness that had only just begun to bloom between them. A perpetual silence settled over that place, which was slowly regaining its vitality. Amara could not find the words that were just beginning to bloom in the garden, so her gaze swept over every inch of the space until it settled on Kyle's eyes, which reflected a deep sadness born of the truth. Somewhat incredulous, Amara asked what the price was, and Kyle replied in a heavy, somber voice, "You." Garden did not wait for you only because you were the only one able to hear it. It has waited for you the way one waits for a child to grow. When you were a defenseless child, a dying star visited you and left a mark of light within you, one that bound you to this place. From that moment on, you filled hundreds of constellations with energy, light, and hope, and your life has kept this beautiful place alive. Amara, lost in thought, asked with a hint of fear, "What will happen to me?" Kyle fixed his gaze on the ground and told her that the garden will take possession of all that light. She would remain alive and true to herself, but she would have no memory of who she was or what she had been. She would simply become an eternal, brilliant, and beautiful presence. Kyle mourned her life, the life of the garden, and Amara's future, because the tender Amara he had come to love would no longer exist. Although Amara did not voice any reproach, her thoughts wandered. But seconds later, she let out a small smile, a smile that radiated calm, like those of people who understand that true love means preserving beauty. As her lips conveyed that love endures because there are those who give it, Kyle sensed her radiance fading and rushed to hold her, for he saw her legs buckling, while Amara slowly forgot everything, even Kyle's face. That night, the stars shone brighter, and with that light, the curse that had bound Kyle for centuries was finally broken. The years went by, and the house stood firm, while the garden always remained vibrant and beautiful. Kyle stayed of his own free will, and every night he gazed at a star that shone like 1,000 suns. People say that when beautiful, ancient words are spoken, that star shines even brighter, and the legend tells of a young woman who pauses briefly in the garden to gaze at the first flower with a mixture of joy and sadness, though she always smiles. The flower draws near to her, and if to make certain that brave Amara would never be forgotten, nor her sacrifice, so that the world might remember the magic of words. The end. Academic credits and attributions. Course English Literature, Code 551029. Task 2. Identification of literary devices. Universidad Nacional Abierta y a Distancia, UNAD. Group number 551029-5. Co-authors and project roles. Damaris Lopez, role number 1, writer, The Beginning. Maria E. Navarro, role number 2, writer, The Plot. Milena Zuluaga, role number 3, writer, The Ending. Maria F. Romero, role number 4, narrator and image creator. Hernan Quesada, role number 5, editor and quality controller. Artificial Intelligence Ethical Use Declaration. In accordance with the UNAD Course and Academic Fraud Regulations Agreement 129 of December 13, 2013, Article 99, Visual Asset Creation. The graphic illustrations featured on the cover, back cover, and throughout the pages of this digital storybook were systematically generated using Gemini, Google's multimodal text-to-image engine. Design purpose. The prompt parameters were designed to specifically emphasize the narrative setting, mood, and core literary devices, such as personification, juxtapositions, and metaphors, aligning visual arts with textual analysis. Textual integrity. Textual integrity. All creative writing fragments were independently handwritten and composed by human group members to guarantee authentic academic delivery and remain below the mandated 15% textual similarity threshold. Published for academic evaluation, June 2026.